What up, YouTube? It is your boy Riley. I am back, and I'm sorry for the delay. So, had a couple of things going on with my life here recently. Changed jobs for one, as well as been doing my thing with school and all kinds of stuff, and that's why I haven't really been able to post, as well as posting every week was kind of giving me like bad feelings, because I would have to look at myself every week and I wasn't seeing the progress that I would like, I guess you can say, and that was just causing me some very bad feelings as far as about self-image. So I had to take a break a little bit. I was going to come back after I was going to come back on my 1 month, and then I was going to start doing a monthly update. But life got a hold of me and I wasn't really able to post like that. So I'm back right now. We're going to dive into some of these changes that I've experienced, some more obvious than others, as well as we're going to talk about some care routines I've had to start doing since the changes with my body have started happening. So like skincare routines, hair care, as far as facial hair, and things like that. So right now I'm setting up to take my shot. Just gonna give y'all a quick little update on what's been going on with me as far as my actual life before I dive into some of those changes. And I will like to say there's going to be another video soon, because I'm wanting to do a video on, I guess you could say, general changes. And then I want to do a video on more, I guess you can consider them intimate, or as far as like not family friendly, because I do have family that watch my videos, okay? And some of my changes I know they don't want to hear about, but I do know that people in our community might want to hear about. So there's going to be another part to the video, so that way my family can watch this video, and the people that need to know the more detailed changes as far as personal places such as bottom bits is what I'm gonna say. I can do a video on that for you guys. So right now I'm just setting up for my shot, disinfecting the vial as well as the area in which I inject in. And while I'm doing this, I would like to say that for those that are just starting tea, after you get the prescription sent in to the pharmacy of your choice, call the pharmacy to make sure that they have it. You can even call around before you do the appointment if you know you're going to be getting a prescription for tea. So that way you know which pharmacy to get it sent to. The reason I say that is because when I first started tea, I think I did my first video when I got the medication on the 25th, but I actually got my prescription on the 18th. And that was very, very aggravating, because I had to wait. No matter the issue, I had to wait. And not only did it take that long, like it took me probably 4 days to get the testosterone into the pharmacy, let alone having to call around after I got the testosterone, because they didn't tell me they didn't have the syringes or the gauge of needle that I needed. And even to this day, like, they don't have the right syringe that I need. I would prefer a, I think it's called a 1 milliliter. Yeah, 1 milliliter syringe, because it's smaller and you're able to see the lines better of where you're supposed to draw up to. But they only carry 3 milliliters, and it's, I mean, I'm used to using those, but that is just really, really aggravating, because you get a better visual when you use a 1 milliliter. So just making sure they have the correct needles, as well as syringes, as well as the testosterone itself. Oh, and I didn't realize they gave me that size needle. So I've been looking up. They haven't had 23 gauge needles, and I don't know if you guys know, but there's a big difference between a 23 and a 25. I'm prescribed a 23, but the 25 is love because it feels like nothing is there. So just making sure I have the right needle in, as well as warming up the testosterone. So just some of the general changes that we're going to talk about is like voice changes, skin changes, obviously facial hair changes, because that, I'm not going to lie to you, after 6 months, like as soon as my 6 months hit, it was like after that, I just got hairy. It was coming in quick, I guess you can say, and that's caused some issues like itchiness and stuff like that. So once again, for those starting tea, I'm also going to talk about this. For those starting tea or have been on tea for a while, and you have friends or know people that's been on tea for maybe less time than you, that are experiencing the changes and progress that you want to see, you have to remember that genes and things like that, genes, age, all that stuff, plays a part in the types of changes you are going to see. Point blank, period. Because I have a lot of friends that like to talk about, wow, your facial hair this, your facial hair that. I know I mentioned it before, but as far as facial hair goes, I grew facial hair before I started tea. I have what is known as PCOS, or polycystic ovarian syndrome. And it is a health issue that causes a lot of trouble as far as fertility, as most, I'm pretty sure all, but I'm not sure, I'm not a doctor, but most people, obviously get multiple cysts on their ovaries. And you experience trouble with fertility. And one symptom, and you can actually look this up, is growing facial hair. Now, I don't know how common that is, but I know that some people, myself was included, develop facial hair. And I know that on a more severe note, like more rare is the amount of facial hair that you grow, because women can grow facial hair anyway, but it's the amount that makes you question what's going on, which I grew a lot of facial hair before tea, like I said. And there's actually videos of this one woman who, I don't know her religion, I know she wears a head garment, as well as other women that experience like extreme facial hair growth. Like there's one woman that grows a full-blown beard, and her beard is magnificent. And she talks about the troubles and stuff she went through trying to grow, like not wanting it and stuff like that. There's some people out there, like trans men, that would love to have that, but for someone who wants to identify as feminine and stuff like that, that's a big issue. And my heart goes out to them, as well as the infertility issues. So that's just something else to talk about on a more detailed note another day. But I grew facial hair before tea, so that is why my facial hair is very, very good, I guess you can say. I don't want to say good, but it's very thick. And the follicles in my face basically were already growing hair, so it was already easy to grow. I'm able to pop that out. I'm sorry, I got a new syringe that I'm not used to today, and I didn't know I was able to pop that. No, that does not pop out. Okay. Let me put that right back on. Don't want to mess something up. So, sorry if it sounds like I'm rambling. I don't get on here prepared most of the time. I just get on here and start talking to you guys. And usually my brother comes in, but he's out of town at the moment. And I've been doing my injections on my own. I don't know if I updated y'all about that the last time. I was on here, but that is something I do now, is I do my own injections. I finally reached that point, which is some people don't reach that point, and that's fine. It's just, it depends on you and how comfortable you feel with certain things. So I'm about to go ahead and inject my testosterone, and then we'll get on to some of the more obvious changes. So, I'm not excited. It's always hard to fucking do it. I'm not even gonna lie. Excuse my language, but it is. Because you're having to poke yourself. That is a lot to deal with. So I'm gonna go ahead and just bite the gun. Go ahead and do it. Take it slow. All right, there we go. So make sure, for those that are doing the shot yourself, make sure you're doing it slow. You don't want to just squish it all in there. You want to take your time injecting it. I like to let it sit for a little second. And I drop my cotton ball, so I don't know how this is going to work. So I'm just go ahead and take it out and get my cotton ball. Excuse me. That wasn't too bad, though. That wasn't too bad this time. Another thing you want to make sure that you're doing is you have somewhere to dispose your syringes, please. You can order it on Amazon. They come in multiple sizes. You can get it however big or small you want. So, I don't know where I poked myself because I'm not really seeing anything. Oh, there it is. All right. So, that's why I usually have my cotton ball right there. So, I can go ahead and put my cotton ball on there. And then put my Band-Aid on afterwards, cause so make sure you're that was really good. Like, it's not even bleeding, so I don't know if I need a Band-Aid. Some days are worse than others when injecting. Like I think it was last week, I bled really bad. This week I didn't. So. And that's weird, because I had a smaller needle last week. I just had to get my prescription. So, make sure you're disinfecting. Wash your hands before you even get all your stuff set up. I like to go ahead and get everything laid out and somewhat open. And then I don't even know if I can't even see where I poke myself now. Probably I'm gonna stick a Band-Aid on anyway, because I deserve it. I like Band-Aids. That's the kid in me. We didn't get Band-Aids growing up. We got handed some toilet paper or a cotton pad and was holding on there till it stopped. So go ahead and pull my pants up and situate myself. So let's talk about some of these changes. So first change we're gonna talk about is skin. So skin, for the most part, is a hit and miss depending on the area. So definitely you're gonna, experience maybe acne, because your skin gets, I believe they say, thicker and more oily. So you're gonna experience acne. I would suggest, if you even thinking about going into tea or taking tea, if you're able to, I would suggest go ahead and get a skin routine going, just so that way that's something you're already got going, so you don't wait till your face starts breaking out and then experience a whole bunch of stuff you ain't liking. Because I'm very particular about my skin. I think I have pretty skin. I like to keep it that way. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm taking out the remainder of the testosterone out of the syringe right now, by the way, because I have a little shadow box made for me. I got it for Christmas last year from a friend. They are amazing. I hope they're doing well. I haven't talked to them in a while. So, and I love it. It says the name I chose for myself, which I want to talk about that too a little bit, but that's in a little bit. So, I put my vials in my box, which I need to talk to my doctor about that. If you're able to get multi-use vials, please do, because that is, if you don't, you waste some, depending on your dosage. I'm on a 0.3 milliliter or 60 milligram dosage, and I get the one-time use vials that are 1 milliliter. So there's like a potential of 2 to 3 uses out of 1 vial, and I don't get that. I have to waste, and I'm not fond of that. I don't like wasting, and it's been bothering me, so I gotta remember to talk to my doctor. So back to skin. Skin, you're gonna get more oily skin, thicker skin. Some places I've even experienced more dry skin, mainly in my chest area and parts of my arms and legs. So just, you gotta watch for these changes. The changes in your skin, the hair, your bottom bits, everything is gonna start changing. And the crazy part is, it's like, it hits you out of nowhere. You're unprepared. So this is why I like doing these videos. So go ahead, if you don't already have one, start practicing at least a skin routine. Whether it's just, massaging your face with warm water for, 30 seconds to a minute. Like, start practicing and start preparing for a skin routine. That's all I really gotta say about skin. Make sure you're moisturizing, whatever you need to do in order to keep your skin good. Just start paying attention to how your skin's changing, or getting prepared for how it is going to change. Secondly, let's talk about facial hair. As you can see, I have gained a lot. Let me try to get up here. A lot of facial hair. So you can see it's starting to fill in right here. You can see a distinct line I got lined up yesterday. So getting full down here. I'm not going to show you too much because I'm still thin in the middle. I don't know if that's ever going to change, but I pray to God it is. So filling in right here. I'm developing a soul patch. My mustache has gotten thicker and it gets long to the point that I have to trim it even before going to the barber, because if not, I feel like I'm eating hair because it's in my mouth so bad. So that's that. When you start going facial hair, that is going to mess with your skin a little bit, and not just on your face, but your hair everywhere is going to change. You're going to gain hair in a lot of places that you're not used to as well. And with that being said, I've grown a small patch. A small patch. You can't see it well. Let me see. Let me try turning on my little light. Oh, I think it's better. There we go. I'm gaining a patch right here. As well as you can see, I'm starting to break out on my chest area, which I need to start doing a little bit more on my chest area. I haven't gained like acne or anything anywhere else. I should have had this light on from the beginning. But a patch of hair right here. I have, once you go down a little bit, probably to about right up under my chest, I have a line of hair growing. Not sure how I feel about it. I like being a hairy man, but I'm not sure. Just to get on that. One thing that changes with your skin when you start growing hair. I don't know why. It might be because my skin is getting thicker, and so there's more maybe like dead skin. I don't know what goes on. Ingrown hairs are out here, and I never really had them until I started tea. So, especially in this neck area where my neck bends, right here, my legs, and other places, I get so many ingrown hairs. And I'm going to give you this life-saving tip. If you don't already do it, exfoliate daily. All right. I exfoliate in my neck area. I exfoliate my leg area. And that's mainly it, because that's like the two main problems where I get really bad ingrown hairs. I get them in other places too, but I've learned to exfoliate there as well. But especially in this area, in your face, watch for those ingrown hairs, because they get painful, they can get infected, and then they're no fun. And if you don't already own a pair of tweezers, you're going to need those too. Go ahead and get you some tweezers. As soon as you start growing facial hair, go ahead and get you, like, you know, a little face trimmer. You need these things. Things that you're not used to having before you start transitioning, you're going to want. Because I have to trim up my beard sometimes before I go to the barber. I have to tweeze maybe if a hair that I wouldn't exfoliate, like in an area that I wouldn't exfoliate and gets out of hand, I'm going to have to tweeze it. I'm going to have to make sure I'm exfoliating that area from now on. So exfoliator, tweezers, and some trimmers or a razor if you like a clean shave. You need these things. You need to, especially after you exfoliate, moisturize that area. Because if not, it gets tender and you don't want that. You want it to stay moisturized. You want your skin to feel healthy. I'm trying to think about what else I can talk about on this video that is still family friendly. I guess I can update you on my life for a little bit until I think of something else. So obviously I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I've changed jobs. And that's actually a good point to bring up as well. So my last job, before I got the job, I talked to them on the phone after my interview and during my interview about how I identified. I identify as a trans man. I use the he, him pronouns. I go by the name Riley. And I made sure to make it very, like, I put it all out there, because when I went into this job, I wanted to make sure that I was identified properly. And I wasn't. Made me very upset. And I stayed at the job because it was hard at the beginning of the pandemic to find a job that was still going, because, you know, everything was starting to shut down and stuff like that. And I made it such a point, and I stressed it so much before taking on the job. And when I got into the orientation, it's like everything I said during the interview and over the phone and things like that was no longer a factor. Like, I said all that shit because I was wasting my breath. And I'm cussing because it makes me upset when I think about it now. And I will say that after going there and after they started to see me and stuff like that, I did have coworkers that respected me enough to actually ask. And then that was the door opening for a conversation, and things did change. But as far as for the upper management, it was just kind of like they didn't care. They did, like, stop referring to me as Miss and just called me by, because everybody goes by the last name there, and it's Mr., and then your last name. And they just stopped referring to me as Miss completely. And that was nice. And they tried to use gender neutral pronouns. I noticed most of the people I mess with, like, try to use gender neutral pronouns just because it was easier for them. And sometimes that's the best way to go about it. If you're struggling with somebody's pronouns, I suggest using gender neutral, because that's what I do. Like, most of the time, I practice just not using he, him, or she, her pronouns in the general. I'm just going to use gender neutral pronouns. That way I know I'm not messing up. And that's a tip for people who might be watching to see what their family's going through, because you have a trans sibling or a trans friend and you're wanting some info on that. Like, use gender neutral and do that everywhere. And that's going to make it very easy for you to use gender neutral in person, and that just keeps you from messing up entirely, whether it be a stranger or whether it be your a friend or a family member. Practice gender neutral. With this job, I did, because I had already started growing facial hair and stuff like that, I didn't mention it. I just didn't think to mention it because I've been living, you know, my life as a man, and it's usually that's not the topic I bring up. And I didn't want to bring it up anyway because in the back of my head, I guess I kind of like was afraid of going through that, stressing it before I get into this job, and then it's still being disrespected. I didn't want to be let down. But with my new job, I have an amazing direct supervisor. And right after my first session with my client, they asked me, they said, I hope you don't mind me asking, but how do you identify? What is your pronouns? And I kid you not, that was the greatest feeling in the world. For someone just to not want to mess it up and was just like, look, I see that you have this appearance and I just want to make sure that I'm doing it correctly. I hope you don't find it disrespectful, but what is your pronouns? And I was like, thank you so much for asking. It is he, him. I actually go by the name Riley. And ever since then, my new job is amazing. Everybody refers to me by Riley or Mr. Riley. They use my correct pronouns. They even go as far as using my preferred name in emails. It's so beautiful. It is so beautiful, and it's so liberating, and it feels amazing. So that's just a good little tidbit on there. So let's see. I am going to do my next video is going to be about the more personal changes, like I mentioned multiple times in this video, as well as I'm just going to talk about some binding tips that I feel like need to be talked about, because you know there's different ways to bind, not just having a binder, or for people who have a smaller chest, you might just use a tighter sports bra. So I definitely want to talk about those things in the next video. But I'm going to go ahead and end this video off. I feel like I've been rambling, but it just wanted to give you guys little bits and pieces of information here and there. So it has been great talking to you guys. I love y'all. And if y'all need family, I'm always here. Y'all have a great day.